Hey everyone, it's your girl Chris, and welcome to Between the Wickets, a conversation series where I step onto the pitch to explore the lives and stories of the professional players who live and breathe the game. Let's welcome today's guest, Jeremy Gordon. Hey Jeremy, how are you?
Hi, I'm doing well, thank you. Thank you for having me. How are you doing?
I'm doing well, thanks. Thanks again for taking some time to be here on Between the Wickets.
No worries. Thank you for having me.
All right, well, I know some of our audiences may not know this about you as a Canadian cricketer, but your origin story began in New Amsterdam, Guyana.
That is right.
Um, would it be safe to say that you're still a Berbice boy at heart?
Yeah, pretty much like through and through, through and through. Yeah, yeah.
That's good to hear.
Mhm.
Talk to me about growing up in Guyana and the role that cricket ended up playing in your life.
So my mom, single parent of seven.
Wow.
Um, Me being the oldest boy, having a lot of energy, she wanted to find a way for me to kind of, utilize some of that energy. Um, Basically, where I lived at the time was like Tugberg Park, and Mr. Moore, who's very popular in Berbice, near Amsterdam, and Guyana actually. He basically ran a cricket club, Tugberg Park Cricket Club. So my mom would see him passing by the house every day with a bunch of, guys essentially my age, very disciplined, shirt tucked in their pants and very polite and stuff like that. So my mom got me into cricket for that reason, for the discipline aspect of things, but I quickly, took a love for the game. I started playing as a batter, and then I was taller than my other teammates, and they're like, "Why try bowling?" So I tried bowling, and right away, like I liked it. I liked the fact that when you bowl fast, people are scared, and like the thumping into the gloves, like when the ball like zipped past the batters. I think that's what kind of got me intrigued and got me like, very interested in the game. And that's kind of how it started, to be honest. I was like, I think 12 or 13. The very next year, I think I was like 13. The very next year, I played for Guyana under 15. And then I essentially saw that, there could be a future in cricket for myself. And so that passion became, well, the love became a passion. And, here I am today, so, like still playing actually. So after two
That's
decades,
that's
yeah.
amazing, and I think always hearing origin stories, based out of Guyana, and I feel like the energy that you have or had as a child, it still runs through you as an adult. Would
Hmm.
that be safe to say? And especially as a
Yeah.
fast bowler as well.
Hmm. Oh yeah, it,
Wow.
it definitely still does. Like it wasn't just like an outlet for me. Like it was like cricket was everything. That was like my first love, like I would be that guy that would sleep with the cricket ball. It was under my pillow. It was in my hands. Every chance I get, like whether they're bricks or stones or mangoes, whatever, I'm bowling everything. So
Yeah.
it became an obsession, like a full-on obsession, right? So
That's amazing to hear. How did your early cricketing experiences shape your fast bowling style, and how did that end up evolving when you started to play for Canada?
so Courtney Walsh and Courtney Ambrose, those are like big idols for myself. I used to watch them dominate cricket. So I used to try to emulate them, try to bowl like them. So like I mentioned before, whether it's like cricket ball or a stone or a mango, whatever I got, or like sausage tins, whatever, I would try to bowl and emulate them. So that definitely kept me out of trouble, obviously. And the fact and I wanted to play for West Indies. So the goal was to play for West Indies, to be one of the fastest in the world and stuff like that. So there was definitely a drive for greatness and success, right? And that still drives me. So fast forward coming to Canada, is a massive change, obviously. Cricket is not as I feel like um the passion is slightly different. Like how we play back home is not the same here. After the games here, the culture is a little bit more relaxed. There's like a drinking culture after the
Right.
game here, after matches. Back home, no. Like you finish playing, you start training and working hard for the next
Mm.
the next game or next season, stuff like that. So that was an adjustment. Like, fitness was fitness is not taking as serious here as well too. Like back home, I was running like 10 miles a day. And then fast
Wow.
forward coming here now, it's like, you got to work, you got to go to school. So like back home, I was just playing cricket. Like here now, like, school, work, stuff like that. So cricket is more of a secondary thing. Yes, I play professionally, but it's more of a secondary thing because it doesn't pay as much as like my full-time job. I'm a network
Right.
engineer. So at the end of the day, like that takes priority over cricket. So like stuff like that is like it's a shift in focus and shift in priorities. But at the end of the day, like I still love the game and I still won't be able to play as much as I can, right? So
Right. And that's totally understandable. I feel like as West Indians, it runs in our blood. It's in our DNA to feel so passionate about the sport. There's always an uncle who vows that he could have played for the West Indies, right?
facts,
A-
facts, facts.
and there's always that one person. Like I have second cousins who grew up in Berbice with
Hmm.
Chandrapal, Gajanan Singh. So,
Hmm.
they
Yeah.
got to play village cricket with them. And then it was
Hmm.
always teasing them, well, why didn't you go represent the West Indies? But priorities change. And,
Hmm.
for you
Hmm.
shifting to Canada, you get to see that difference in culture and atmosphere. Um,
Yes, that's right. That is true. That is true.
yeah. So I think it's amazing though that you're still able to maintain your day job and still
Hmm.
follow through with your passion.
Yes, yes. I'm fortunate. I am fortunate. I am
Yeah.
grateful. I'm able to do that, to be honest. A lot of people are not able, so I'm grateful.
Yeah. No, I hear you. You were also able to get some game time in last year's
Mhm.
ICC T20 Men's World Cup. It was a big thing. And you picked up some
Mhm.
impressive figures in the match against Ireland. Talk to me
Mhm.
about what representing Canada meant to you personally, and if there was any favorite teams you had playing against during that World Cup.
So playing for Canada in the World Cup, it's a dream. It's a dream cup come through, to be honest. The road to the World Cup was challenging, and I think it was like self-inflicted. So we had the qualifiers in Bermuda. We lost the first game to Bermuda, so we kind of had to play catch up. So we had to essentially win all the remaining matches, including against Bermuda again, which is kind of like the finals. The
Right.
last match was the finals, and it rained pretty much all night leading up to the game. It rained that day as well, so it was a touch and go. If the match did not play that day, we would not have qualified. So it was a touch and go thing again, like I mentioned. Um, During that match too, Bermuda had us on the back foot. I don't remember the exact scores, but how much we batted first. I don't remember. I forgot how much we made, but I knew that they got off to a flyer with the bat, and I was not introduced into the bowling lineup until about I think the 13th over, and I
Oh,
came
wow.
back and I got some critical wickets, and we ended up winning that game, and then qualified for the World Cup. So that meant a lot, just obviously helping the team to get to the World Cup, and then being able to play now at the big stage, rubbing shoulders with some of the greats of the game, India, Pakistan, you mentioned Ireland, the US. So the US is like kind of like one of our biggest rivals. So
Yep.
um, the first game against the US, I started really well, like I bowled well in my first overs, and then I had a hiccup in my third over. It was not as impressive. Like I think that's possibly why we lost the match.
Yeah.
So coming into that Ireland game for me was quite simple. It's just to take the learnings from the first game. So I think the first game, my second spell, I tried to bowl too fast, and I was
Mhm.
kind of spraying the ball all over. So the second game against Ireland, it was very simple. I'm like, I don't need to go for pace. Just kind of focus more on control, and utilize the conditions to my benefit. And that was essentially the plan going forward. It was just to utilize the condition, and not necessarily try to bowl the fastest ball in the tournament because the wickets weren't conducive for that,
Right.
so I had to adjust accordingly. So, but yeah, like favorite team, I obviously wanted to play against India, so it was unfortunate that that match got rained out in Florida. But I enjoyed playing against Pakistan too. Like I had a good game against Pakistan as well too. I bowled to Mohammad Rizwan. I got Fakhr Zaman out, so that
Mhm.
was pretty good too. So it was like again, like other than the first game, I think I came back pretty well, and I think as a team, I think we did pretty well too because I felt like had we had maybe 20 or 30 more runs, we would have won the game against Pakistan because they were struggling too against us. Like
Yeah,
we
yeah,
had
I
them.
remember that match.
Yeah,
Yeah.
so I think for the learnings for us too, the US back to the US game too, I think we got a bit complacent too in that game. So had we not have gotten complacent, we won the US match, won the Ireland match, we would have gotten to the Super Eight as opposed to US. But that's something of the past, something to like, look back and obviously, take the learnings from that, right? But it was a good
Absolutely.
experience. Like it was a good experience. I'm not gonna lie. A great
Yeah.
experience.
Because I was able to connect with some of the Canadian players around that time, and I remember seeing you in the USA match, and I'm like, wow,
Mhm,
I'm pretty torn here
mhm,
about who I should be supporting. But I saw, you're bowling, and I'm just
mhm.
staring at the TV like, Jeremy, what are you doing? But I mean, listen, you came back and you really did assess the conditions, and that paid off. I really enjoyed watching the Ireland match because I was like, Canada have this in the bag from the beginning, and that was proof at the end.
No, thank
Now,
you.
you're also a certified bowling coach, and you lead the Gordon Pace Academy. Um,
Hmm.
which I thought was interesting on top of everything else that you're doing as a cricketer and with your 9 to 5.
Hmm.
As a fast bowler and coach, what's your coaching philosophy when it comes to developing pace bowlers?
I mean, it's very simple for me. It's basically I'm embodying the let's say the bowler's unique ability. So a lot of coaches they try to make you textbook, and sometimes that affects your what you do naturally. So my thing is like we're working with your unique abilities, whatever you do naturally. If it requires enhancement, we will. But if we can just in terms of improving upon that, building upon your unique abilities, as opposed to trying to restructure and changing. So it's a very simple thing because anyone that looks at myself bowl, you can tell I am not textbook. I'm not natural. So it would be in my mind crazy to come in and try to make someone textbook when I know for a fact I am not textbook and I have had to almost fight with coaches to
Wow.
keep my uniqueness, right? So a lot of coaches they try to change me in different things, and sometimes and at times I had listened, and then it caused injuries and different things, right? So so what I've learned from that is basically embodying that uniqueness and building upon it, as opposed to like if someone has such a unique, let's say, action that it may cause serious injuries. And at that point, we may look at restructuring. But if your uniqueness is not going to cause any sort of harm, we just look to build and improve upon that.
And I love that because
Yeah.
there are so many parents who may bring, their kids to
Mm,
academies and they might be like, well, make my son the next Jasprit Bumrah or Sunil Narine, Usman Tariq, Kaleem
mm,
Sana, Jeremy Gordon. And you can't.
yes.
Realistically, you can't.
Yes.
But like you said, building upon the unique skills that
Yes.
your mentees would
Mhm.
possess. It's so
Yes.
important and it just builds the
Mhm.
next generation of bowlers.
That's right. That's right. I agree. I agree.
Um, and I think it's amazing what you're doing,
No,
coaching
thank you.
and
Thank you.
it's always important to pass on skills that you've developed. Is there anything that stands out that you learned that you're passing on to different fast bowlers, pace bowlers?
I mean, well, I guess I can just take a step back. So for me in Canada, right? So
Mhm.
I'm 38 and I bowl 140 plus. Actually, like presently right now, I'm in the best shape of my life. I'm bowling upwards of 150 again. It's been a while since I've done that, but I'm actually bowling faster than I've had in my 20s. Coaching has that definitely helped with that because as I'm coaching. I'm actually relearning certain things, and certain things are like really hitting home for me. So like that's a big thing, and also is it's a way of me giving back. So I know, there'll come a time, hopefully soon, when I'm going to retire. So I want to be able to like build the next generation of fast bowlers, because looking around, there's no one bowling 140 plus in Canada, and probably North America. So if I can help, the goal is to get maybe 5 or 6 guys that can potentially bowl 140 plus. So when I retire, I can be like, you know what? Yeah, there's someone else that has the ability to do what I'm doing, or is doing what I did for Canada, or what I did for like North America and stuff like that. So that was kind of the goal, and it all started, to be honest, minor league. So I got drafted like during the pandemic to play for Philly.
Hmm.
So when I got drafted, one of the things they said, it was in the contract. It was, I need to mentor like players. And I've never done that before. So it was like, you need to mentor and do a bit of coaching, um, other than playing for us. And I was like, oh, how am I going to do this? So a big thanks to Philly. And then when I got down there, it was a young team. I think the average player was like maybe 21. There were some 17-year-olds, 18-year-olds, 19-year-olds. So a lot of young guys.
Yeah.
And I bonded very well with those guys. So I obviously did a lot of coaching. So a couple days a week I have some sessions, and that's where like I'm like, wait a minute, I can do this. So
Yeah.
I'm getting good reception from the different guys I was coaching, I was mentoring. So, and that's where the idea came from. And I'm like, I should probably do this for Canada, or do this for like maybe Guyana. So like the goal of as well to maybe go back home to run some coaching camps and programs and stuff like that, because essentially I want to be able to, I love fast bowling. So if I can again help breed the next generation or mentor next generation, I'm very happy to.
Yeah, and I think it would be amazing if you did have the opportunity to go back to Guyana and do that, because
Hmm.
we see a
Yeah.
tournament like CPL who,
Hmm.
allows a lot of the young talent to be showcased at that platform.
Hmm.
So yeah, that would be amazing if you'd be able to go home and do that.
I'll happily do it too.
Yeah,
Yeah.
yeah, I know.
Yeah.
Um, it's interesting because earlier in our conversation, you mentioned about the difference, the drastic change in North America when it
Mhm.
comes to maintaining, a 9 to 5 job plus cricket. And
Mhm.
cricket is not something that you get to do as often. Um,
Mhm.
how are you able to balance that? Because I don't think people understand that it's not all fun and games. Um, and the environment back home is much different than
Mhm.
Canada or
Mhm.
America. So how are you balancing things?
So I am grateful. So I work for a bank. I work for Scotiabank. So
Mhm.
excuse me. So I am grateful. Um, there's a big work-life balance that I have with my job. So most of my vacations, or actually all of my vacations, is what I used to play cricket. So I use my vacations, and in cases where I don't have any vacation, I'll take like a leave without pay. So that's in terms of the World Cup, because I think I was gone for like more than a month, because we had to look like
Mhm.
a pre tour, like a pre camp, stuff like that. So at that point, I took like a leave without pay. So that's kind of how I managed that. But for the most part, it's by vacation. I'll use my
Wow.
vacation, I'll use my personal days, sick days, stuff like that, and that's kind of how I make it work.
And I think that's a blessing that you're
Mhm.
able to have that flexibility with your job.
Mhm.
I remember growing up hearing from my uncle, he was actually friends with Alvin Kalicharan, and they used to
Mhm.
work together in Guyana. And
Mhm.
he told me one time Alvin had to go practice for West Indies, and that was before they were going on tour. And he ended up covering Alvin Kalicharan's shift because that's what friends do.
That's
Um,
what that is. Yeah.
and I think it's just amazing to see that drastic change now where it's like I have sick days, I have vacation days. This is what I'm going to take them for. But
Hmm.
what a blessing that you're able to have a job that understands, hey, this is what I also do. I'm going to need
Hmm.
some time off.
Yes, and I'm grateful. Like I said, I am very, very much grateful for that.
Yeah, absolutely. Well, we are going to switch gears to a quick fire round.
Okay,
No pressure. Are you ready?
I'm ready. I'm ready.
All right. Guyana or Toronto, where feels more like home?
Definitely Guyana.
What are your top three favorite Guyanese dishes or snacks?
Metimji Kasavapone uh, Paluri, yes,
I love
yes,
cassava phone and Polari, with a
yes,
loud mango sour as well.
yep, 1,000%. Well, maybe some tamarind sour too.
I
Yeah,
love
yeah.
tamarind sour. Yeah, absolutely.
Yes.
If you had to play a match dressed as a superhero, who are you showing up as?
Huh. Jeremy Gordon. I'm joking.
That's a valid answer.
I struggle with myself. Yeah, Jeremy Gordon. Yeah.
We're gonna go with that. Jeremy Gordon, the superhero. We got to get you an outfit. If you could bowl to any cricket legend, who would it be?
Huh. Vivian Richards.
Mm, that's a good one. What's your favorite travel destination you visited because of cricket?
Dubai.
Nice. All right. Well, that wraps our quick fire. I like now I have ideas of what your superhero costume could be. Um, but before I let you go, if you could tell your younger self something right here, right now, what would you tell him?
Damn. Um, I just keep believing in yourself. Like keep believing in yourself. Keep working hard. Um, like hard work pays off. Like just keep believing. Keep working. Be disciplined. And your hard work will pay off. I think. Yeah, that it's very simple. Like keep working hard.
Yeah, and you're
Being
living proof of
disciplined.
that. Yeah,
Yes.
absolutely. Well, Jeremy, thanks so much for joining me today on Between the Wickets. And to our audiences, if you enjoyed this conversation, don't forget to like, share, and subscribe. Until next time, I'm Krystal Ramroop. See you on the pitch.